Fox News page moments ago said a white nationalist who hates immigrants performed the dirty deed in New Zealand. Now, the terrorists have published a manifesto, and the manifesto includes the claim from the terrorist shooter that he's not a conservative, that he's not a Christian, that he identifies as an eco-fascist, and he adds that he disagrees with Trump on politics. This is an amazing list of things to put in your manifesto. It indicates an awareness of how media is going to tend to report this. And, of course, media is reporting this, that it is precisely the fault of Donald Trump. We go to audio soundbite number 4. Last night, CNN Tonight with Don Lemon. Trump was blamed immediately for the New Zealand shooting. Columnist for The Intercept, which is a website, Mehdi Astan, about the mosque shooting in New Zealand. Don Lemon said, "You said before that this kind of thing is personal to you and that it speaks to the violence that it's going on in our culture."
I think to kind of talk about the story we were talking about before in terms of Trump's rhetoric as well, Western governments for far too long have turned a blind eye to domestic terrorism, to domestic far-right terrorism. We now know from the stats here in the US that there are more attacks, more casualties from domestic terrorist groups, far-right groups, than there are from quote-unquote jihadist or Islamist groups. You have Muslim victims of terrorism tonight in New Zealand. I mentioned the attack in Quebec City shortly after Trump was inaugurated. Is there someone out there tonight who's going to hear Trump's rhetoric and act on it? Less than 6 months ago, we know that one of his big supporters sent pipe bombs in the mail to dozens of people who Trump had personally attacked and demonized. We know that lots of far-right attackers have claimed to be Trump supporters in recent months.
No, we don't know that. This is all made up, so we don't know this. This is their pipe dream. The idea that there is far more crazed right-wing terrorism in America than there is any other kind is nothing more than a media narrative manufactured out of whole cloth, and it's just waiting for events like this to take place. And this is what happens, folks, when, I don't know, you probably get up and you see this news story and you just, in addition to all of the emotion you have over the sheer shock, terror, and horror of it all, then you realize you're going to face a whole day of the politicization of it. You realize you're going to face a whole day of Donald Trump being blamed for it, or you being blamed for it, or things you believe in being blamed for it. And then you know there are going to be the routine attacks on the National Rifle Association, and we can thank Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for opening that door. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez called out the NRA after New Zealand shootings. "What good are your thoughts and prayers?" she said. It's a tradition when things like this happen that you send thoughts and prayers to the families and so forth, and here she is. What good's that? That doesn't do anybody any good. Dana Lash, the spokeswoman for the NRA, responded to the criticism from Ocasio-Cortez. She replied, "Good grief," to a tweet which accused Ocasio-Cortez of being hypocritical for attacking those who pray after previously putting ash on her forehead for Ash Wednesday, which she did. Now, folks, when a politician politicizes and mocks faith, I think that it speaks volumes about that politician. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez attacked faith and prayer after people of faith who were in a house of prayer were brutally murdered. Which to me is just immature, childish, short-sighted, heartless. And so she takes here a horrific attack in New Zealand to try to demonize the NRA, which isn't even in New Zealand. The shooter's objective here was to divide. I mean, there's another thing that happens here when these events happen. You have all kinds of speculation that erupts, and there is an ongoing theory. Mr. Snerdley, correct me if I'm wrong about this. There's an ongoing theory that the shooter himself may in fact be a leftist who writes the manifesto and then goes out and performs the deed purposely to smear his political enemies, knowing he's going going to get shot in the process, and you can't immediately discount this. The left is this insane. They are this crazy. And then if that's exactly what the guy's trying to do, then he's hit a home run, because right there on Fox News, the shooter is an admitted white nationalist who hates immigrants. You try to absorb all of this, try to keep some kind of an even keel about it. And then from the manifesto again itself, the shooter says he's not a conservative, not a Christian, and that he identifies as an eco-fascist, which would make him a supporter of the Green New Deal. He adds that he disagrees with Trump on politics. And here's more from the manifesto. This is a little section of it. Quote, I chose firearms for the effect it would have on social discourse, the extra media coverage they would provide, and the effect it could have on the politics of the United States and thereby the political situation of the world. The U.S. is torn into many factions.